I would say it is kind of daunting, or I don't know if daunting is the right word, but depending on who the person is, especially if they have like a huge following on social media, I could feel a little bit apprehensive about reaching out to that person about, doing a podcast, especially if they click on my channel and they see that I have like 300 followers. Like, this person's a joke. What's up, everybody? Thank you for checking out my video. If you clicked on it, I like to talk about equipment that I use for my podcast, hopefully giving you good tips that you could hopefully make your life a little bit easier when it comes to booking guests, buying equipment, or things like that for your podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to schedule and get guests. On a weekly basis, I like to record anywhere from 2 to 3 podcasts a week. That way, if there is a week, like during December and November timeframe, it's hard to really book guests during that timeframe. So I like to have a bank of episodes that I can release during those slower months and those slower weeks. I would say it is kind of daunting, or I don't know if daunting is the right word, but depending on who the person is, especially if they have like a huge following on social media, I could feel a little bit apprehensive about reaching out to that person about, doing a podcast, especially if they click on my channel and they see that I have like 300 followers. Like, this person's a joke. But more oftentimes than not, people are willing to talk and share whatever it is that they're doing. So I think that's probably my number one biggest tip is don't be afraid to reach out to people, even no matter how big they are. How I would schedule podcasts before is just you'd start off with an email or an Instagram message. And I always have like a template that I send them. My template says something to the effect of, what my podcast is about. I'll actually paste it right here somewhere, an example template that I like to use. I've been doing this for like 3.5 years, and it was kind of a pain in the ass because I'd send the person an email, and if they were interested, they would email me back. Then I would email them back with some possible dates, and then they would email me back, and then we'd probably go back and forth, at the very least about 6 times. So I wanted to make their life a little easier, so I was looking for softwares and websites that could help me, schedule things. And a lot of them that I came across had pricing and plans that, required you to pay monthly. But I came across I can't even say this. I came across Calendly, and they offer a free pricing plan. Actually, what gave me the idea, one of the guests that I had on, she had a, big following, and she had her social media person schedule a date through her scheduling software that, fit my date and also fit her date, which was awesome. And I was like, man, why am I not using this? So I looked up what she was using, and she was using Calendly. I can't even say it right. Calendly. I don't know if you have trouble for that either. And I was surprised that they had a free basic plan. And I've honestly, the page we're looking at right now, I've never even considered looking at their professional plans or their essential plans. They do have plans that you can pay for, but if you're doing a podcast and you're scheduling just one-off meetings, this is great. This meets everything and does everything that I need, and it cuts down on those email exchanges by more than 50%, because I just email someone the initial email, the initial request, and if they say yes, then I just book a bunch of dates through Calendly, propose a bunch of dates and times that work for me, and then I send that to them, and then they get, 12 to 15 choices and dates and times that they can go through and see which one works for them. What's awesome about Calendly is that whenever they do book it, it automatically is connected to my Zoom account. So it'll send myself an email calendar placeholder via Google. It'll send them a calendar placeholder, and it'll have that Zoom link in there. So it's all integrated into one thing, and it just saves so much time. With the basic plan, it looks like you can connect one calendar per person, which is fine. Like I said, if you're the only one that's using it, it doesn't matter. And it connects to Google, Office 365, Outlook, and iCloud Calendar. So I have my Calendly synced up to my Google and my Outlook account. So it's synced up to my personal and my work account. That way, whenever I'm scheduling podcast, it'll book a time on my Google account and my work account. That way, everything's synced up, and I don't have to transfer and forward emails and things like that. It just makes my life that much simpler. You can create unlimited one-on-one meeting events, which is really nice because you'll see here in a little bit, I have, 7 or 8 podcasts that are currently booked for future dates. So there's not, a limit. I think there are some websites out there, some scheduling tools that only offer on their free plan, only allow you a certain number of future events. So what Calendly is doing here is really awesome. You can customize your booking link. You can create automated event notifications. Let's see. You can't do anything in Teams. As far as customization, you can add branding to your booking page. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I need to do that. That might be pretty cool. Let's see. You can add a Calendly to your website. I don't have a website, so I haven't done that. And you can connect to Google Meet, GoToMeeting, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, Zoom, and all that stuff, which is freaking awesome. Connect to Slack. I don't use that. I don't use Intercom and business support. I haven't had any issues, so I haven't needed to contact Calendly at all. So I have the basic free version of Calendly, and it worked great for me. All right, so let's get in here and see what it actually looks like. So this is the home page of Calendly. At the top, you have your menu items with the event types. Event types is pretty cool because if you have a podcast, if you only have one day when you could do a podcast, then you could create a new event type. Call it a one-on-one, or you can do it a group. But just for the sake of this demonstration, we'll call it a one-on-one. And you can say doing a podcast. And this is where you can sync up your Zoom account to Calendly, which is really awesome. But you could do Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, and all these other applications. But for me, I like to use Zoom. I find that Zoom, for my internet, for my equipment, it offers the best look and the best audio sound that I record into my Zoom Podtrack 4. And I'll just say that this is a podcast hold. All right, and then you could do a color event and next. Then you could select your working hours that you want to send to people. So this one-on-one event type is what you can send to each person that you're looking to have on your podcast. If it's of the same days, if it's in the same days and those calendar days, then you could send this to them. So personally, I don't use the one-on-one event type. I like to use the one-off meetings. So I'll go to create one-off meeting, and then I'll select days. So you can see here on this calendar, I already have some podcasts scheduled, but I'll, for the sake of this video, I'll just select a couple of days. So here, you can see that you can select multiple. So you can go to the next week at the top, and you can just keep selecting days. All right. So you can add as many days and times you want. I think I've added, up to 30 proposals in one meeting one time. Go to next, and then this is where you can put your information. So this information that you select, this is going to, once your meeting is created in Google, this is what's going to show up on that meeting request. So I'll say podcast with YouTube. Add a location. It's going to be in my Zoom. If I wanted to, I can add the details and agenda, but I never really do that. This reserve time. This is really good or really bad depending on how long it takes your guest to book the actual time slots. So it's kind of bit me in the butt before where I send it to people who are probably really busy, and it takes them 3 or 4 weeks to select that day, especially if the podcast is booked months in advance. it'll take them a while to select the day. So if I reserve this time, it's going to block out all those times that I have selected in this proposal. So the more and more calendar invites that I'm sending out, it only allows me to select the ones that are open. But if you don't select this one, you have the potential of double booking, which is really bad too. So I'd rather limit my future open calendar than have the potential to double book somebody, because that could be really bad. So publish meeting. And all I do from here is I will copy this meeting link, and then I'll open my Gmail account, and then I will send them an email with this meeting link, and ask them to select which time works best for them. 99.9% of the time, the times that I've selected have always worked. I've never had to go back and add times, probably because I add so many times. You could also click on add times to email, copy times, and then, if you were just going to send them the link and copy all the times to the email, you could do that. I think it looks tacky. I used to do that. But like I said, I select so many days and times that it kind of looks tacky and daunting if I have like 40 different proposals there. So once they select a date and time that works for them, you'll get an email sent to whatever email address you have connected to your account in Calendly. And this is what your scheduled events would look like. So you have upcoming events. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 upcoming podcasts. And these are ones that I scheduled. I think this one I scheduled a couple of weeks ago, but some of these I scheduled back in, I think it was November, September of 2022. So they've been scheduled for a while. And it's awesome because this is connected to my Google Calendar. This is connected to my work calendar. So I'm never going to forget that I have an upcoming podcast to prepare for. Any pending podcast that you have created, you can see the one that I just created with YouTube. I'll need to obviously delete that one. But any ones that are still out there pending, you could see that they still need to make a choice. So like I was talking about earlier, if you select that reserved time, then that's going to limit the amount of times that you have to for other podcasts. So you can see these are all the reserved times that I have with this lady here. All these times in my calendar will be reserved until she selects one. And then once she selects, let's say she selects Tuesday, March 14th at 11 a.m. She selects this time right here. All of these other times will obviously be cleared off the calendar, and they'll be ready to select for future podcasts. So if you're looking for a scheduling tool for your podcast, or in general for whatever you have going on in your life, I highly recommend Calendly. I can't say it. Calendly. That's what I recommend. This is not a sponsored video. I don't even know if you have to say it's not a sponsored video. Do you have to say that? Does YouTube force you to say that it's not a sponsored video? This is not. I just really like them. I'm cheap. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money to run a podcast of which I don't make any money on the podcast. So I use the free version. Always try to use free versions of everything that I use. And again, don't be afraid. That's my one recommendation, is if you're starting a podcast and you're not sure how to book guests, or you're trying to structure what your podcast is going to be about, I highly recommend doing something that you're going to be passionate about and you're going to like talking about, because otherwise it's going to get boring really quickly. And don't be afraid to reach out to people, even if someone has more followers than you, because in the beginning, I used to be kind of ashamed to reach out to people that had, 10 times more followers than me, because I was like, what good is it going to do for them to come on my podcast? But like I said, most 99.9% of the time, people love promoting themselves, and they love to talk about their books, their athletic events, their charities, anything like that. They love to talk about themselves. So they're always more than willing, 99.9% of the time, willing to come on your podcast and help promote whatever it is that they're doing. And I recommend Calendly because it looks more professional. You got the scheduling tool. It's integrated into your email. It's integrated into whatever meeting platform you use to record that podcast. So I recommend this tool. Let me know if you have any questions. I greatly appreciate you checking out this video. If you have any questions on, if you want to see something else, if I missed something in Calendly, or you want to see how I schedule podcasts in Zoom, you want to check out more of my podcasting equipment, let me know what you want to see. I'm here to help. And if I don't know it, I'll tell you I don't know it, but we can figure it out together. Anyway, thank you for checking it out. Love you. Bye.